Thank you to Alexander RHH for their generous donation on Patreon. If you would like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description. Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome to All of the Above, episode 33. It might sound a little bit different. I'm actually using an old microphone, the Blue Snowball. So it's because I'm not in the office, aka the spare bedroom where I usually record stuff. The reason that I'm not there is because I've been kind of fucked up lately. I'm actually in the bedroom right now, so if you hear any, like right there, some loud ass typing or any residual sounds from Bri blasting whatever the fuck she's watching through her headphones that I can hear it. I can hear what you're listening to. She's sitting right next to me, but she's got her headphones on. So we're in the bedroom. I've basically been stuck in bed anytime other than when I needed to not be in bed for feels like a week now. And the reason for that is because I am a broken down person. I just constantly am fucking, like, I can't do a damn thing without it hurting. That's the kind of situation I'm in. Literally what I did, we recently incrementally chopped down a small tree in our yard because it was kind of fucking up the driveway and it was making it hard for people to find the house and whatever. I hate to cut down a tree, but it needed to happen, otherwise it was going to fuck things up. Sometimes it has to happen. I'd like to plant another one in the yard, but we got to ask before we plant stuff. The landlord's fine with us taking shit down, but a tree is a pretty big investment, and I don't know where the fucking pipes are in the yard, so we'd have to do a lot of checking, but I would like to do that. That would be nice. But anyway, I say incrementally because we could only really do one branch at a time without running the risk of taxing ourselves. I say branch, but it was one of those trees where it like has like a couple inch thick, but it's not one big fucking trunk of a tree, but it's a bunch of small trunks that then branch out into smaller branches. But with this, there was like 4 or 5 of those smaller, but still pretty good size. Like, you could not break these with your hand, unless you're like Mark Henry, probably. But, so we'd only take one down before, we only got a handsaw. Not an electric one, but a fucking seesaw one. So we'd have to figure that one out. But that eventually came down. But the problem is, we chopped them down and they were just laying there, again, like right in the driveway. So, again, incrementally, I had to start trying to move those towards the inner part of the yard and closer to where our neighbor uses some of our branches from our other tree in the yard. It's this big-ass tree. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's one of those trees that has the little spinny seeds, you know, when the seeds fall out and it's got the little wing and they circle around. We got one of those. I love those fucking trees, man. But he's got a fire pit that we actually bought for him because he's a very sweet neighbor and he's currently in getting treatment for cancer. So yeah, good person to be doing stuff for. He certainly deserves it. Not the cancer, the help. Jesus Christ. He deserves any help he can get. No one deserves the cancer. Fucking hell. Wording. But yeah, so what I did was one morning I got up and I was like, well, I need a shower today, so I might as well do my physical activity early, because I pretty much can only do, on a good day, 1 act of physical labor before I run the risk of really fucking myself up and being on bed rest for a week or so like I am right now. Because I chronically forget to pace myself. And I also have this problem where I start doing something and I just get stuck in the mindset of finishing that thing. I kind of have that problem with with food sometimes, like you got to clear the plate more so than you got to fill your stomach up, which is dumb. Don't eat like that. But I would have that problem occasionally, and because of that, when it comes to like chores or whatever, like you have to finish all the dishes no matter how much your hand is hurting, or you got to finish mowing the lawn no matter how much your back and legs are hurting. And doing this tends to overtax me. And so that morning, when I don't even remember which fucking morning it is, it feels like it was a week or so ago, but I got up, I used the bathroom, and I was like, I'm going to shower. So before that, like right after waking up, and I didn't stretch because I'm an idiot, and I went out to the yard, and I started trying to move these branches. Again, these aren't huge branches, and there's only a couple of them, but just stooping, picking something up, and moving it I moved it like 2 feet just to get it out of the driveway. And I did this for like 3 branches. And that was all it took for me to be so fucked up, I couldn't even take the shower. I had to come in here all stank and sweat, and I had to lay down. And it's fucking gross the way I said it like that. But because of that, I have been slowly recovering. My back has been just fucking terrible. I'm only out of this bed whenever I absolutely have to be out of the bed. So like, oh, okay. My computer's being a little jankety. Sorry. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know why. I need a new computer, man. If anyone wants to donate $500, I'm sorry. So anyway, yeah, unless absolutely necessary, I have been in this bed for like a week. And my back is still fucked. And because this is during the time I'm also recovering from my wisdom tooth surgery, I also got this massive zit that like went through my nose. So like there was a head in my nose and on the outside of my nose. There's just a lot of things going wrong with me all at once. So I'm just laying in bed, my gums were hurting, trying to figure out how the fuck a blood clot works. I have to brush my teeth twice every day, because if I forget, the fucking holes in my gums could get infected and I could die. So you gotta be careful about that shit. All the while, my fucking nose is... And it happened, I got the zit because I got sick. I got sick after the surgery. And so my nose was running, and I was... I don't know if I had a fever. I think we tested. We have a thermometer, but it's kind of old and cheap, so I don't know how accurate it could be. But I was achy and tired and fatigued, and it was just a fucking disaster. And so the surgery led into the sickness, which led into the zit on my nose, which coincided with me trying to move stuff. And that's the thing, is you're not even supposed to be doing physical labor after surgery. Like, you're supposed to be able to do it like after a while. And I got my surgery. Oh, good. The fucking vent kicks on, and I'm right under the fucking vent. I don't miss this with the microphone. My new microphone barely detects this shit, but the snowball detects it for sure. Listen to that vent. So yeah, that's fun. My surgery was 19 days ago. So the pain from the surgery is subsided pretty significantly. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be attempting to do this podcast. But I'm still taking like 4 ibuprofen a day, and my back pain is barely mitigated. I can only imagine what it would be like without the pain pills. But you got to be careful about that. Got to be fucking careful when it comes to pain pills. I am a fan of wrestling, so I have heard I don't know how many fucking stories about various wrestlers who got fucked up by abusing or neglecting their use of pain pills Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, fucking... Oh my... There's so many. Not just those three, but those are the first three that came to mind right off the bat. Eddie Guerrero. That's a scary one to name. Because he fucking died. And very, very young. Like, way too fucking young. Very, very sad about that. That was... that would be 15 years ago, I believe. I believe he died in 2005. Or was it 2004? I don't remember, honestly. I'm sorry. I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. But anyway. So this episode is actually long overdue. Because I was planning on doing this before the surgery. Because I wanted to have a bunch of stuff recorded leading up to the surgery, so I'd have a lot of stuff to do while in recovery when I couldn't talk as much. There were some days where I could barely get out any words because it fucking hurt. But I only got so much done because I can only sit in the office and record for so long, and I can't do gaming or visual novel episodes from the computer. I could attempt it, but I wouldn't be able to check on OBS to make sure it was actually working, and considering how fucking jankety OBS can be, I'd also have to use this microphone because the audio interface new microphone I have, that would be a lot of shit to haul in here, a lot of equipment, and I do not have a big enough table on this, my side table. It'd be a real big fucking hassle. Not only that, but even while laying down, I can't lay in any one position for very long. So I don't know how long this is going to be able to go, even though I'm laying down, for fuck's sake. So we'll see how long this goes. You might also know, for anyone who has been keeping up, the five of you that regularly watch all the above when these aren't the clip episodes or the interviews, you might also notice the lack of Caleb. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I didn't ask him to be here. We're not like fighting or anything. Like, I don't want for those who care and might have a predisposition to get worried. Basically, me. If I was hearing this, I would get worried. But no, it just comes down to it felt like every time we were recording together, we either were not talking about stuff that we really were passionate about, or if we were, it was borderline arguing, and it was just not pleasant. And I love talking to Caleb, but I just fucking felt a huge disconnect there. I felt a disconnect with the stuff we were talking about. It's also more difficult, technically, because we would try to do it over the phone, or we would try to do it over Discord, and there was always calls getting dropped, or Discord having a lag, or OBS would go fucking nuts. And all of that effort for something that most people aren't listening to felt kind of a letdown. I know it's not about the views, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I mean by that is I was not enjoying it as much as I was hoping to, and I don't have any confirmation on it, but I felt like Caleb was kind of indicating the same, because especially around that time when I was coming back from the Kansas trip, I started to have this real big problem with feeling like I was in various situations and with various people being the only one kind of putting myself out there, and therefore the only one seemingly interested in whatever was going on. See, for people who were saying in the census like that this show doesn't have a theme, here's the theme for you. My fucking life, my inner dialogue, that the stuff I think about on a day-to-day basis, anything going on with me, anything I feel like, that's what the fuck it is. That's my theme here. But yeah, when I took the Kansas trip. I went down to visit Caleb and Kyle and my dad and my brother. I also was supposed to see Ivy, but that didn't wind up happening because the fucking virus. That was a fucking weird thing because it's a fine line, right? There's a fine line between the kind of friendship where it feels like after so long, no time has passed. You know, that feeling where you haven't seen someone in a long time, but you sit down with them, and it feels like there hasn't been a day hasn't gone by, and everything is, you know, whatever. And that is a good feeling when you're going back to something that is pleasant and good and whatever. And the problem is, there was like one day where that happened when I was visiting specifically Caleb and Kyle. And that was like the last day that I was there. The event kicked off, thank God. Most of the days that I was there, and I was there for a few days over a week. The thing... Jesus. We have this like neck pillow vibrator thing. Not a vibrator, Jesus. A vibrating neck pillow. It's in the shape of a koala. And you're probably hearing it right now. Bri just tried it on. She really it's very cute. But yeah, I was there for a week and 2 days, so it'd be 9 days. And I took a train down there. I took a train, for fuck's sake. And I didn't mind so much being on the train. I did mind the train bathroom. That fucking sucked. I hated that fucking bathroom. And it never even occurred to me to try going to other cars' bathrooms, which is totally allowed. You're totally allowed to do that. There's no law against it. And there were some bathrooms that were way worse, and there were some bathrooms that were marginally better. So if I ever take a train ride again, which I'd be willing to do, I'm definitely going to be pickier about which bathroom, not just going to the nearest one. But the biggest problem with the train was just that it took so fucking long. I was on the train from morning to night. It was a long fucking train ride. And not only that, but I had a huge fucking layover, which was boring as all hell and very uncomfortable train station, bus station combo in St. Louis. Very fucking uncomfortable place. Friendly people that work at the little food section there, but otherwise it fucking sucked. But main thing is that it took so fucking long, and when I finally got there, there was a large portion of that trip where I felt like nobody was acknowledging the fact that I hadn't been there. There was no sense of urgency. There was no sense of, oh, we haven't seen you in a year and we want to make sure we have as much fun as we can while you're here. A lot of the days boiled down to, so, how you doing? What's, want to watch something? Like, I got no problem chilling out. I got no problem with that. And it's not like the world was open, so it's not like we could have done a whole lot. Not that we were ever super, like, gonna go out to the club. Like, we never did that shit. But, like, there was, like, one day where the fun of, like, me, Caleb, and Kyle hanging out like we used to do was encapsulated, and that was the second to last day. A large part of the problem was that, Kyle had a very restrictive work schedule, and he scheduled a vacation during that time as well. So he wasn't even in town for half of it. And then when he got back, he had like 2 days where he was available, and then he was at work. Can't fault him for being at work, but it was like, this trip wasn't last minute or anything. Like, He got some of the dates mixed up, but in addition to that, there was another guy there, and again, no shade on the guy himself. It's actually like his name is Ethan, and we wound up having like a strange amount of similar interests. Like I remember at one point just pointing out like, I don't really know you. He's a guy that I went to high school with. Same with Caleb and Kyle. We're all in the same grade. The problem is that I only ever saw him at lunch, and only sometimes at lunch. And that was 7 years ago. And since then, a lot has happened to him that I won't go into. It's not my place to say, but a lot of shit happened to him. He life fucked with him a lot. And so he's very kind of hard to reach when it comes to getting him to connect with you. It feels like, I remember phrasing it as like, he constantly feels like he's on the brink of a torrent of tears or just an absolute manic attack, and he could literally be like that while just petting dogs. And if he's not in either of those, it feels like nothing that's happening, like he's not even there. And again, at no point am I saying that he's a bad guy because of any of this. No, he got fucked over by life supremely, and as such, I do not fault him for having some stuff to deal with because of that mentally. No fault. No beef. There's no beef here. The thing is that is a very difficult energy to manage when I'm away from home and I'm trying to be on vacation with my friends, and I don't really know this guy. Like I said, I saw him sometimes once a day 7 and 8 years ago. Like, I really don't know him. And so, because of that, I'm trying to hang out with my friend, and a lot of stuff is going wrong. People are canceling. People are not there. And while trying to figure out something to do, I'm also trying to manage somehow to be cordial with this guy I barely know who has a difficult to maintain energy. And I don't mind saying that because he knows it, and everyone around him knows it. He acknowledges it. It's not a fucking thing he's doing on purpose. He has a different kind of energy about him. And because of that, it made the vacation kind of stressful in a way, hard to manage mentally. And so when I was hoping for hanging out, D&D, video games, watching stuff like that, what wound up happening is a lot of sitting there waiting for something to happen and no one acting like I had left at all or that I would be leaving again. And so it really didn't feel like anyone overtly cared that I had left. Like the fucking word I'm trying to think of, the hospitality. There we go. The hospitality that Caleb showed me was good. Like, he had towels and hand towels and little shampoos and soaps wrapped up with a bow, waiting on the bed in the spare room that they had cleaned up just for me to be there, because it had kind of turned into a we'll deal with this shit later, let's just put in the spare room. But they cleaned that all up, and they wrapped up towels in a bow. It was so nice. And there was most of the time food was not like it's a weird, complicated history. Like, I don't, when it comes to people buying me food, there is an unfortunate trend where a lot of times people would wind up having to, because I just didn't have the money for it, and I'd feel bad about it. But I also would try to do it when I shouldn't be paying for myself in terms of financially, but I'd feel so bad that I would do it anyway. and therefore wouldn't be on the fault of the person who could have paid but didn't, because they didn't know, but also they didn't fucking ask. Like, I wasn't lying, I just said that I'd get it. And I don't know, it's weird, it's fucking weird. But like, yeah, I think there was like once, maybe twice, I'm trying to remember, once or twice that we actually ate at the house. I think I cooked myself some eggs, but a lot of times we wound up eating out, and so the budget kind of got inflated, unfortunately. I got to hang out with my dad. That was nice. He made it feel like it had been a while, and Aaron never really was the most like, oh my god, I can't wait to see you again. Like, when we had to say bye, it certainly felt like that, but not quite that much. But like, we both he that kind of relationship is like, even when I was moving originally, I was still living with Aaron, and so we didn't kind of really acknowledge that I was leaving until the fucking minutes before I drove away. And I don't like that. I don't like doing that, because that leaves a lot of emotions left unresolved and on the table, and having to come up with stuff to say on the fly. And it's dramatic, to say the least, but it's not exactly the most healthy. And it left me really thinking, when I was driving away that first time, like, Aaron is going back to an apartment he's been sharing with two people and a dog. You know, his brother, his new sister-in-law to be, and his nephew dog, I guess, for a year, if not longer. And he went back inside that night, because we drove off at kind of at night, and he was alone for the first time he ever was living alone. And he only did it for a little bit, because a little bit after that he would get a roommate, or my friend Jesse, that would become our friend Jesse, because I introduced him to Aaron. But it made me think about Aaron being in that apartment alone that night, and I felt bad. I didn't have much time to think about how I was feeling, because I was driving through construction-riddled Kansas City and Missouri that was constantly on the brink of collapse, the fucking roads. And that whole fucking, the moving was just a nightmare. But anyway, so when the reason I talk about the Kansas trip specifically, especially considering that happened like 2 months ago, is because I noticed that when it came to hanging out with people, there weren't really that many attempts by some people to reach out to me to express that they even wanted to. Like, there were definitely some. Like, I'll get the occasional message from like Paul, Hyper Wolfstar, Dev of Wolfstar Sins in Paradise, where he's showing me something, or he's trying to talk to me about something. Mark, the same group there, fabulous artist Mark. And in addition to all of that, that group has an Among Us group. They get together, less so nowadays it seems, but that was very nice, and I've met some really great people there. But there's a lot of people that kind of just, they don't reach out, and I can understand that. In a lot of cases, it's nerves or anxiety, or just not knowing someone very well. I am relatively new to that group, and I'm not exactly the easiest person to get a read on, it seems. But Caleb I had known for 9 years, 9 years as of this year, and soon to be 10 years as in a fucking 11 days. Because of that, when he doesn't reach out, every week we were recording the show, and every week I was the one trying to reach out to him, and every once in a while he'd have something he needed to do that day or just happened to be scheduled that day. But it was like we record the same day every week. And this isn't a roast of fucking Caleb, by the way, in case he's hearing this or in case anything like that. This isn't sour grapes here. But I did notice that, 1 week I had... it had been a couple weeks where either he was busy or something was going on, and I kept reaching out to him, being like, all right, when are you going to be ready to record? And then he would say that he was busy. And so the week after that, because we hadn't done it for so long, I forgot. And I didn't send him a message. And the next day, I realized that we were supposed to record, but he didn't say anything. And I realized it had been 3 weeks at that point. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm trying to get this near my shoulders.
Okay. Every once in a while, Bri will just be wiggling around on the fucking bed or searching for something, causing a fucking karumph. And it is so fucking distracting because it takes her a million fucking years because she'll lose something or whatever. And it's so dramatic a performance. But, eventually... If I offer help or if she figures it out or whatever, it gets there. It gets fine, but fuck if it ain't a big fucking ordeal in the meantime.
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking shit about you.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm shit, and you don't even know why, and he's just immediate fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty valid criticism.
Yeah, but still, you don't want to hear that shit.
No,
and you didn't hear that shit.
I'm perfect.
Exactly.
I'm perfect.
Absolutely. Is it helping?
A bit.
She's using the vibrating neck pillow on her shoulders.
Yeah.
Because she's got a lot. She carries a lot of tension in her shoulders and in her back. Is that better?
A little bit. It's just that there's one vibrating module right in the middle.
Yeah. Do you want me to help you? If you lean forward, I'll try to position it.
No, I got it.
Okay, she's got it. Anyway, so the thing is, 3 weeks I forgot to message to Caleb, and he didn't reach out to me the next day. And then so I decided to wait and see what was going on. Didn't message me for the rest of the week. Next week rolls around. I still don't say anything. Neither does he. So either he's forgetting perpetually, or he kept scheduling something to be there, or he was assuming that I was busy and didn't want to try to interrupt me. Whatever the case, he didn't say shit. He didn't reach out to me. He didn't ask if we were doing the show. And now it's been 2 fucking months or so, a month and a half. Still nothing. Hell, we've exchanged a few words about other shit. And we even send each other TikToks occasionally. But still nothing about the show. So that is the long and the short of as to why Caleb ain't here today. 30 minutes in is because for whatever reason it seems like there is a huge disconnect, and honestly I don't know what the fuck's going on. I know he just got a new computer, so that might also be it. Because for a while he was recording from a tablet, but apparently he got a new desktop, so hopefully he'll be able to play games too. I don't fucking know. All I know is it hurts to be the only one reaching out for whatever reason. And for a lot of relationships, it felt like I was the only one trying. Not the big one, obviously, not the relationship between me and Bri, because we talk anytime anything even like we have this thing where we both have a touch of paranoia, where like we know something is not a problem, but like sometimes you just need to hear it. It's like I don't have a good concrete example, but it was like you'll just be laying in bed one day, and your inner thoughts are just fucking with you, saying some shit, turning a mountain into a molehill into a mountain, making a mountain out of a molehill. That's the phrase. It's essentially making something bigger than, and more significant than it really is. And you know the other person isn't thinking some bad shit about you, or they're not mad at you. That's a big one. Are you mad at me? You know logically they're not. But because you haven't heard them say that they're not mad at you, your brain is just like, not even just your brain. I don't want to phrase it like the sick imbalance of chemicals are still telling you, but they still might be, because you ain't heard them say they ain't, or something like that. Oh, they shifted away from you when you got a little closer. Literally, that could just be that they're, usually with me, it's because my fucking back hurts. I shift around a lot. But what if it's not? What if they hate you now? Stuff like that. And it sounds a little silly when you say it like that, but paranoia fucking exists. It's real. And so we'll ask the other person, like, I know it's not the case, but I need to hear you say it. So are you mad at me? Or did this thing bother you? Or do you think I'm a failure? Or anything like that? And it's like, of course not. And the thing there is, when you hear the response, and this is something at least I personally have had to learn, is there is a very specific way. There are a lot of specific ways you should not answer that kind of thing. First and most important thing is you shouldn't get personal about it. Because there are a lot of times where if you have problems with paranoia, something will happen and the paranoia will tell you that it means something that it totally doesn't. And so if you ask about it and the other person's like, well, why would you think that? Obviously I don't think that. Why would you ever think that I think that? Then it makes you feel like shit for having a thought that you didn't even really think, but your paranoia was telling you, and it was making you upset, and you reached out for support, and now you're being treated like a criminal. So that's a big one to not do. The second one is to not seem dismissive of it. Jesus, you almost fucking wrecked my whole setup here, bud.
Sorry.
It's okay. Dismissiveness. If someone asks something with the phrasing of, I know it's not true, but are you mad at me? You need to say more than, of course not. It's okay. It's fine. Whatever. Don't think about it. It's fine. Because that sounds like a form letter. It sounds like an automatic response. It sounds like you didn't even think about it. Or that you're just writing off their feelings as, oh, it's whatever. They're just having a moment. Like, it's real emotion. It's a real feeling. Even if it is paranoia, it's still something that you're feeling. So you need to treat it with the respect it deserves and the care it deserves, because ultimately, no matter what is causing these feelings, the person you love is feeling upset. They need your support, so you should give the support. Don't treat it like an irrational thing, so you don't need to think about it. Don't treat it like it's about you. It's about them and making them feel better, because ultimately they don't want to feel that way, and you don't want them to feel that way. So help them. So there you go. So that wasn't on the list. I have a list of things I want to talk about. That was not on it. But I say all that to say, like, I'm not ascribing any malice to Caleb not reaching out. But it is something that is hurting me. Or at least it more so did. Now I've just sort of accepted it, because Caleb has a bit of a history of friendships of, like, we don't talk for 5 years, but then we talk like not a day has passed. This is kind of a typical thing for him, and not in the sense typical makes it sound like it's a bad, like, oh, typical, but it's a kind of normal thing for him. He doesn't see promptness as as something that could hinder a friendship. And certainly it's not hindering the friendship. It just sucks for me personally, because I see it a bit differently. And that's fine. That's fair. That's not I need a drink. Hold on. Nice drinking ASMR. That's just something that we see differently. When I don't hear from someone for a long period of time, my paranoia tends to act up. And even without the paranoia, it still hurts me a little bit because I feel like I'm the only one putting any effort in. But with Caleb, he's just like, oh, they haven't said anything. It would be nice if they did, but I'm not going to fucking beat myself up over it. And that's just how his mind works. And that's okay. It's two different philosophies, and they can exist they can coincide as long as each person understands how it happens. Because just because you think of something one way doesn't mean another person has to. You just understand that someone else thinks that way, and hopefully you can adjust to have a mutual understanding. But yeah, I made a list like months ago when I was planning on doing this stuff of stuff I wanted to talk about if I was given just unrestrained fucking, I'm just going to talk about this shit levels time. I'm just going to go from topic to topic and just fucking talk about it. And so I'm going to do that now. Some of these are a little dated. Like I wrote this list not long after I had to get a COVID test. My first and so far only COVID test that I've ever had to get. Because I don't go outside very often. I'm a fucking hermit. But I had to get a COVID test because I drove to a hospital in Chicago. Like inner city Chicago. Like I could, from the parking garage, I could count the windows if I had absolute lunacy levels of patience. I could count the windows on Sears. It's actually called Willis now, but Sears. To say it like the Sears Tower. Say it like that because certain Chicagoans get a little upset about that shit. But anyway, I could count the windows on that particular tower if I so wanted to. That's how fucking close I was. But I went in there to get a fluoroscopy. I'd never heard of a fucking fluoroscopy before. It sounds way more serious than it actually is. Basically, they make you drink like an iodine-ish solution or whatever. I don't know. They make you drink some solution that they can see on an X-ray. You drink it on command, and they take pictures of X-ray as it travels down. And they get all kinds of fucking angles, and it's meant to see how your fucking internal digestion shit is going, because I have something wrong with my digestive system that causes an extreme amount of acid and an extreme amount of diarrhea if left unchecked. I take a daily probiotic and a Metamucil and an omeprazole. All of these things mitigate a lot of the problems, but they still act up regardless of dietary choices. They do get exacerbated by certain dietary choices, but I once ate a fucking salad and got diarrhea, so that's any fucking guess there. A lot of people will point at the dressing. I had very light dressing on that salad. But anyway, the COVID test itself was not actually that crazy. I didn't get the same one Bri got. When Bri got a COVID test, she got the fucking thing shoved up her nose, where they shove it way past where you think it should go and scrape the fuck out of it. Like, she had to get that. I didn't get that. I was all nervous about getting that because it's so fucking unpleasant sounding. From everyone who's ever gotten it, they just hate that shit. I just got a cheek swab, and it was negative, so that's good there. Yeah, with the power of hindsight, it's not much of a fucking story. Same with this next one on the list, which is Bri and I have an idea for something we might do on occasion, which is the whole reason why this microphone is even in the bedroom to begin with. This is making it sound bad. It's for fucking movie reviews, okay? Let's keep things above board here. Bri likes movies. She likes a lot of different fucking movies. She watches good movies, bad movies, comedy, horror, a lot of horror movies. And I, conversely, have not watched many movies. A lot of my movie-going friends have lamented the fact that I constantly am saying the phrase, I haven't seen it. Seemingly at every reference, at every inside joke, every possible moment, it seems like whatever the fuck they're talking about, I have not seen it. In particular, when it comes to movies. I do have this problem with TV shows, but those are a little harder because there's a lot of it. But yeah, movies in particular are really bad about that. And so Bri has gotten a bit of a taste for what kind of movies I do like. So she tends to recommend ones that she knows I will like. And most times she gets it right. I don't know of a particular time when she got it wrong when it comes to movies. TV shows, yeah, there have been a few misfires. But for movies, I believe she's bowling a perfect game here. One of them was Onward. Fantastic fucking movie. Absolutely loved it. A long time she was pestering me to watch Coco. Also, fantastic fucking movie. Thing is, she gets on me about watching these movies for a long time because I don't have a lot of mental energy. And watching a movie takes a movie that I haven't seen before, takes a lot of energy out of me. Now, it's something about being anxious. I'm not a fucking professional here, but I'm the trained unprofessional, for fuck's sake. But apparently it is something to do with anxiety. About people who have anxiety problems tend to watch the things that they've already seen over and over again because there's less to be surprised by. They know what to expect. They don't have to focus on it so much. And so, yeah, I wind up watching YouTube videos, mostly because they're shorter, but even TV shows that I've already seen dozens or if not hundreds of times, way more often than I would a new movie or a new TV show. I'm trying to get better about that. Recently, I've been watching some stuff of The West Wing, very up my fucking alley there. American politics show. Along the same lines, I recently watched on HBO Max, they've got this Race for the White House series about various presidential campaigns and races against candidates throughout American history. That was very nice. And there's also this series on the History Channel. Only some episodes have been uploaded on YouTube for free. It's called The Ultimate Guide to the Presidents. And very well made. Bit of a revisionist history. History Channel does tend to have a bit of a narrative they're trying to weave, but I can understand the truth where it is, and I appreciate the depiction nonetheless. So that's very nice. But one of the movies that Bri had me watch recently was Shaun of the Dead. It was a movie that I wanted to watch for a long time, and we finally got to watch it because my energy happened to meet up with an opportunity. Doesn't happen all the time, but it does. And yeah, very nice movie. I maintain a list of my top 10 video games and movies of every year since I've been born. And Shaun of the Dead, out of sheer anticipation, was already on the list. You're getting very close to the microphone cord. You're making me nervous. No. Like, the slightest wiggle can make this thing go all to shit. So please be careful. But yeah, out of sheer anticipation, Shaun of the Dead was already on the list of favorite movies. Because if I don't have enough movies that I've actually seen and liked from a year, then movies I want to watch will wind up on the top 10. And it's a little fucking weird but it's my fucking list. I'll do whatever. But having been removed from watching the movie for a bit, it's actually pretty enjoyable. It's not my favorite comedy horror movie. That would probably be Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's a pretty fucking funny comedy horror movie. But Shaun of the Dead is pretty good, and Jesus, Simon Pegg's a good fucking actor. Like, I remember seeing in a comment on a Who Culture video where someone referred to Simon Pegg in his one-off appearance in Doctor Who during season 1 or series 1 of the new 2005 reboot as being a total waste of him. And I'm like, yeah, it fucking was. Simon Pegg could be Doctor Who. He could be a great doctor, but I doubt he ever will. He's got a lot bigger fish to fry. Not saying Doctor Who is insignificant, but like, you're not getting Ian McKellen as fucking Doctor Who for that. That's for fucking sure. He was in the show, but yeah, you're not getting fucking huge names being the series regular. More often you get someone who appears in the show as a regular and then becomes a big name. Like Peter Capaldi is now one of my favorite actors of all time. I didn't know who the fuck he was until Doctor Who. Turns out he's done a lot of cool shit before Doctor Who. So, and I'd actually seen him. I have seen Peter Capaldi in something before I saw Doctor Who. He appeared twice in The Vicar of Dibley. And I had no idea it was the same guy until I was rewatching fucking Vicar Dibley after seeing Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi in it, and fucking I was blown away. Brie could testify to that if she was fucking listening, and if she is listening, if she was participating. When he popped up, I was like, "Babe, look, it's Peter Capaldi!" It was a total nerd moment there. So yeah, let's just move on to the next fucking item on the list here. I don't want to talk about that. I had a day where I had 2 very negative fucking interactions with people back to back. I had to deal with a fucking homophobe at the gym I was going to and plan to go to again once the fucking virus cools off. But the gym was just taking no fucking precautions in keeping people from being irresponsible. So it was just not fucking safe. But yeah, I had to deal with a fucking homophobe who made a crack about it. I thought this was the men's locker room when I was changing in there. And then the same day I came home and my next door neighbor, who barely ever talked at all to me, fucking screamed and swore at me and insulted me like crazy because she didn't think we were raking the leaves promptly enough, and the leaves were getting in her yard. I had to prevent Brie from going over there and beating her ass, but you know it's calmed down, mainly because that lady hasn't said shit since, and I'm glad. But yeah, for a while there I was very, very upset to the point where I was crying. I was scared. I was scared that they were going to come over here and do something, that they were going to knock on the door and try to talk to us. And, or something, I don't know. I was just scared. And it's not like they're fucking like jacked, fucking violent people. It's an elderly couple. Not like obscenely elderly, like can barely fucking breathe just because their lungs are too old to do it. Like, not that level of I'd put them in their like 70s, maybe, like young 70s, lower 70s. Like they're old, but they're not like fucking decrepit old. Like, so I wouldn't expect them to come over and like kick my ass or anything. I could definitely beat their ass if I needed to, but I just don't want to deal with people coming to my door and screaming and going nuts. I've realized through this whole thing that my anxiety, I don't know if it's just because of that or whatever, but when I'm at home, I like to pretend the rest of the world doesn't exist. And that it's just sort of a la carte. If I want to deal with it, I can look at the news and see what's going on. If I don't want to, I can just ignore it. I can just stay in my room or stay in the house, and all the blinds are shut. I'm usually awake at night, so I don't even see the fucking sunlight, and I don't go outside unless I have to. and that event just kicked on again, and I probably need to talk to my therapist about that. I have an appointment with her tomorrow, actually, so hopefully we'll have time to do that. 30-minute sessions once a month. Not near good enough. Not near good enough. But yeah, so that was just a very unpleasant fucking day. The fuck? No, I'm not gonna do that. I have listed here extracurricular activities, rant. But I kind of already mentioned that when I came back, how I really am grateful that people really want to see more of that series. But when I get comments on other series, not even watching that video, just asking about that, and when I do finally do an extracurricular activities video, people are like, oh, finally. They're like, it's like I do other shit. If that's all you want, like, I get it. You have every right to just want one thing. But I do things on this channel when I want to do them. Because that's the only way to keep it from becoming an obligation, from it becoming a job, from it becoming a chore. And so if for a while there I was playing some things only because I knew people wanted me to, and it fucking sucked. So now I'm only doing stuff that I want to do when I want to do them, or when I'm able to do them, because I haven't been able to record shit in the office because my fucking back, or my fucking sickness, or my teeth, or whatever the hell. But yeah, I don't ever want to sound ungrateful about that, about people wanting to see me do a thing, because that is still blows my fucking mind, and it's flattering as all hell. But when I get people who demand it and then don't, they seem to act like I'm not part of it. They just act like it's just a service to churn out episodes. Like, there's a person underneath all this, bro. Yeah. I got a whole other list of YouTuber problems. I also want to give then I'll get to it in a moment. I want to give a quick acknowledgement to the retirement of my favorite wrestler of all time. He officially retired, The Undertaker. After years of people thinking that this meant he was retiring, or that people were retiring, or that meant he was retiring, ever since fucking 2013, he's been rumored to be retiring for 7-ish years. And even before that, off and on, people were talking about whether he was retiring or not. He finally did it in front of no fans, because it was during the fucking pandemic. But to celebrate 30 years of Undertaker's WWE career, and of course he wrestled before that, but 30 years in one company, that's fucking amazing, no matter what company it is. And when it's professional wrestling, to be a top guy for 30 years, putting your body on the line to entertain the masses. Undertaker's my favorite wrestler of all time, and I'm so happy he's finally reached inner peace enough to accept a retirement. Because I watched that Last Ride documentary, and it's way more than just like, oh, how were you feeling on this day when this happened? Like, it's a huge narrative about someone who loves a business so much that he can't let it go, even when he needs to, for the sake of his family, for his health, for his sanity. But finally, he was able to let it go, and I'm so happy for him, and there will never be another one like him, so thank you, Taker. Big acknowledgement there, because fuck, god damn it, I love The Undertaker so much. He's my favorite wrestler. I could never have a appreciation of respect that I have for The Undertaker for anyone else. There are others that I like, but he is number one, and will likely be number one for, if not a long time, if not forever. So, there you go. Have a happy retirement, Undertaker. You're never going to watch this, but yay. Yay for Taker, not yay that he'd never watch it. If fucking Undertaker watched this, my head would explode. I would be shitting bricks. I would go nuts. Oh man, I would have his comment printed out, engraved in fucking gold, have the gold dipped in bronze. God damn it, I need to stop now. Anyway, okay. Oh, here's one. Oh, this is not going to be a fucking... It's the last one before the YouTube complaint list. Okay. One of the things that Caleb and I constantly disagreed with in our old version of this show was the fact that Caleb's I don't want to call him a fence sitter. He is more conservative than I am. I'll say that. But I want to phrase this right, but I don't know how. Okay, I'll go with this. When I was much younger, I grew up in a very rural, conservative area. And I was not raised by staunch conservatives. I was raised by people who definitely have some conservative viewpoints, and definitely back then they would probably describe themselves as more independents. But, nowadays it's a bit different. But I used to hold the title of an independent like a badge of honor, because that meant that I wasn't tied down to any party, that I agreed with one party sometimes and another party other times, because I wasn't looking at the issues as being by party. I was looking at the issues as they are themselves and thinking for myself, and that's how it was. And it turns out that's not what I was doing. It turns out I was just listening to what some people were saying and some of what other people were saying, and a lot of the time I wasn't thinking for myself at all. Because anytime it felt like I was leaning too far onto one side, I felt like I needed to go to another. I found that a lot of my views, some of them were genuine. Some of them, there's the vent going off. Some of them I felt truly, and I had a lot of arguments and a lot of research, and other ones I only believed because someone had told me that I should, or because I felt like I needed to have that belief in order to not appear partisan. I needed to stay as an independent because otherwise people wouldn't take me seriously. They would just write me off as one or the other party, and I couldn't have that. But now I have officially gotten sick of that shit, because there was a moment during one of our recordings. I don't remember which episode it was, but I went on a very anti-congressional Republican rant. It was about the coronavirus specifically, although there were a lot of other reasons that I could have. And the basic crux of it was that I recognized that in May, the Democrat-led House of Representatives had proposed and passed a coronavirus relief package. I believe it was the HEROES Act. It was $2.2 trillion. I believe. It was fucking huge is what it was. It was a lot of things. A very expensive bill, too. But it came out in May. Well before the CARES Act, which was the first bill that came through pretty fucking quickly, surprisingly. That CARES Act was set to expire in like October or something. Or was it like August or... It was some fucking... way fucking down the line. Well past May. And the Senate, led by Republicans, shot down the HEROES Act. And then proceeded to twiddle their fucking thumbs right up until the week of the deadline for the CARES Act. And then they proposed, like, way less. Like, no unemployment benefit boost or extension, no stay of eviction, no checks for the people. It was basically a corporate protection bill that was meant to protect businesses from liability. It was giving bailouts to fucking corporations. It was a shit show, and so it was designed to basically be everything a Democrat would fucking hate. And lo and behold, the Democrats in the House did not carry it. And despite the fact that the Democrats had brought something to the fucking floor that most Americans, according to the fucking numbers and polls, wanted most of the things in that bill, if not all of them. Definitely not all of them, but some people wanted all of it. Some people wanted none of it, but it's the amount of those things, not just the fact that some people exist. That's the crux of the whole thing, why I hate the both sides argument. Yes, there are people on both sides, but there are more people on one side than the other when it comes to most things. So, despite the fact that Democrats had proposed something and were continuing to work all the way through from May through, the Senate Republicans did diddly dick until the very last minute. And then when that didn't work, they were like, see, the Democrats are not doing it. The Democrats are fucking it up. It's Pelosi's fault. And yeah, I'm not the craziest over Pelosi and some of the things she's said and done over the years, but I'd take Pelosi way over McConnell any fucking day. And so I went on this really long rant about that. And it was very heated, very venomous, and very honest to how I felt. And later on, Caleb said that he almost hung up on me because he didn't like how fucking far-leaning it was. That he didn't want to hear that level of partisan, and he thought it was just blindfolded because it sounded like I was saying that the Democrats were perfect and that the Republicans were the cause of all problems. That's not the case. I don't believe that for a second. However, when it comes to a lot of the problems that affect us today, I would dare say that the Democrats are more right, not in terms of the political spectrum. They're more correct. I'll put that. They're more correct and in line with the will of the American people than the Republicans are. And showing support for one party more than the other should not be misconstrued as thinking that one party is perfect and the other one's the devil. Because that's not, I didn't say that at any point, but that's how it felt to Caleb. He felt that I was going so fucking partisan that I was saying that the Democrats did nothing wrong and the Republicans did everything wrong. And that kind of hit me back. I found myself apologizing about that and whatever. I don't want to apologize for that because I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I genuinely believe that a lot of the mainstream positions of the modern Republican Party are totally wrong and harmful to America and not in line with what most Americans want according to polls and the people. And they deliberately game the system in order to gain power because the will of the people alone wouldn't put them there. So, through gerrymandering and through rigging the congressional elections and the electoral college, all of these things, if leveled properly, if one vote equaled one vote, no matter where you lived, the Democrats would sweep the fucking election. I remember seeing this map someone made of if every state, if their electoral votes went according to their most populated city, how that city voted. And almost all the states were blue. And yeah, of course that's going to fucking happen because the cities, by and large, lean blue. And I have some theories as to why, exposure to different cultures and coexisting and, being around more people tends to give people more context and tends to get people out of the isolation idea of my way or the highway. Now, it's not across the board, and it certainly isn't a universal thing, but it would be willfully ignorant to say that the cities don't generally swing more one way than the other. And that's not me saying that that's the way it should be done. Far from it. I believe that a pure popular vote is the way to go. If you're a farmer in Arkansas, your vote should matter as much as someone living on the 12th floor of a condo in LA. That's how I feel. And I feel like any system that does not properly represent that idea is corrupt and undemocratic. It is a republic system, not Republican in terms of the modern Republican Party, but in the actual term republic. A republic is a governmental system based around representatives. The people have people who represent them to decide things. A democracy is where everything is up to the vote. But what we have in America is a democratic republic where the people elect people to represent us and then they decide things. If it was a pure democracy, there'd be no Congress because every time any issue ever was brought up, you'd have to stop what you were fucking doing and vote on it. Or at least you'd have the option to. Most people wouldn't because voting in this fucking country, almost no one fucking does it, and that's absurd. But, and if it was a pure republic, closer to how things used to be, where we didn't even vote on, like, senators and shit. Like, they were just chosen by the fucking parties. Like, it was weird. And certainly we don't choose who our electors are. In American presidential elections, we vote on electors. We don't vote for the president. It's fucking weird. So I just think of straight up popular vote. That's not the point. The point is that what I'm getting at is I don't feel bad about being partisan anymore. I am a Democrat. I'm a democratic socialist, for fuck's sake. And I am tired of feeling like I have to force myself to comply or be complicit with the idea that independents are somehow more intelligent or more proper. I don't feel like that's the truth anymore. If you genuinely believe in that, some issues that you just happen to agree with the Republicans and some issues you just happen to agree with the Democrats, some issues in the middle, sometimes you agree with a whole different party or anything like that. As long as you're well informed and thinking for yourself, and if it just so happens to be that way, then that's great. If you're well informed and you happen to agree with a party almost across the board on every issue, that's fine too, as long as you're not doing it because it's from the party. As long as you're not doing it just because someone told you to, or because it happens to align with a specific color or a specific label. That is where the problem is. That's where it is. Just blind partisanship is absolutely terrible. But being partisan at all is not the problem itself. I am a leftist. It's true. I think that Senate Republicans have more power than they would if the popular vote was the law of the land. I feel that on most issues, the modern Republican platform is wrong and promotes harmful beliefs, and if allowed to do what they're planning, will harm the American people, and in a lot of cases, more people than just those of American citizenship. That's what I genuinely believe. And I don't want every time I say some shit and something I genuinely believe, and I try my best to be politically aware, I keep up with current events and contexts. I don't like every time I say something for the response to be, well, the Democrats also did this one thing. Well, where's the proof of that? Well, I did find it somewhere. I heard it. I'd have to look into it again. It's like, I'll offer to look into it, but I'm not going to just accept that it's true just because you said it. A lot of people get upset when you do that. They'll say that they heard X, Y, or Z, and when you say that you have to look into it, they'll be like, no, I heard it. I heard it. It's true. I heard it on the news or on Facebook, and that means it's true. Like, no, it fucking does not. And hell, I know the amount of research I put into the fucking things that I know to be true. That doesn't mean I'm automatically right. What if my research was flawed? What if my research came from unknowingly partisan or biased or untruthful sources? What if I'm misremembering something? What if I'm just fucking wrong? Who knows? If I were to say something to someone that I know to be fact based off of a lot of research, and there's not a question in my mind as to the validity of what I was saying, I would still want whoever I'm talking to look into it themselves and get their own research about it. And hopefully they would choose valid research points, places that know what they're doing and have actual evidence, as opposed to people just spouting conspiracy theories or whatever. I can't guarantee that that's going to be the case, but if they just blindly accepted what I said as truth just because they know that I put in the work to research it, then that gives onus to anyone else to just say that they did the research even if they didn't, and then they just get away with saying shit that is not true. When it comes down to it, the thing that you need to do the most is be confident in your ability to research, know how to say things properly, know how to research things properly so that when you say them, you can be sure of them, as opposed to just saying, well, I saw this thing one time or I heard it one time. Just look into it. Independently verify your resources. And every time someone says something that you possibly disagree with, don't take that as an opportunity to, well, actually at them. Because that's one of the things that bothered me a lot about my political discussions on All of the Above with Caleb, was that it seemed like every time I said that I was criticizing the Republicans for doing something, he would bring up that the Democrats also did a thing. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's not what I'm talking about. And also, I'll look into it, whatever you're claiming, but I don't know that to be true. And then that just sort of fucking kills the conversation. I don't know. I just don't see... I see blind partisanship as a problem, but I also see blind bipartisanship as a problem. It's trying to both sides every issue will not fucking help. It's non-committal, it's fence-sitting, it's flip-flopping, it's waffling, it's not productive. So, yeah, I don't feel bad about fucking having a belief in one side more than the other, because I know I'm not just doing it because it's a blue and therefore it's the correct. Like, no, it's not that. Alright, so I have a list of shit that annoys me about YouTube, so let's go through all those things, because those are lighter, I guess. Wow, okay, one of these is like a long-ass rant. I'm not going to read it word for word, but it's amusing me. One of the things is just fucking getting annoyed with the word algorithm, because it feels like every time anyone ever says the word algorithm, they're using it to complain about some shit, and it's just fucking annoying. It's just a word that fucking annoys the shit out of me. And somehow in this thing I also started talking about Matt Pat not taking criticism well, and how his fucking his merch plugs take for fucking ever. Like, I have no problem with YouTubers having merch. I have merch of my own. I barely talk about it because I'm not proud of it, and I don't like the system that Zazzle has, and quite frankly, I'm thinking of just taking the whole fucking thing down anyway. But Game Theory merch ads take for fucking ever, and when he's complained about his videos being limited in time because of a copyright problem he had, like, then stop spending a fourth of the fucking video talking about your goddamn merch line. Like, I get you're proud of it, and he has reason to be proud of it. We own a Game Theory Letterman jacket because of that, but fuck. Like, Jesus, if you just calm the shit down. Another thing is a criticism towards Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. I fucking can't stand... for a while, it seemed like they were titling their gameplay videos with clickbait titles. But they were parts of a series. Like, when Jacksepticeye was playing fucking Kindergarten, that'd be the title of a video. You have to grab what in Kindergarten? But it was really Kindergarten Part 7. But I didn't know that because the title did not say that. And so I'm thinking it's about like a fact video about it, and then you open it up and it's just a regular Jacksepticeye episodic video. And the thumbnail is just a picture of a character from fucking Kindergarten. And it's no information at all. It got me to click, but I didn't watch the fucking thing. Fortunately, it seems like they've calmed down a little bit from it, but it's not all the way gone yet. And it needs to be gone. I title my shit very deliberately. And I try to give little descriptions in the description, believe it or not, about what happens in the video without being spoilery. But, you know, in the thumbnail, I put the logo of the game, some art from the game, a number so that people know what number episode it is. And in the title, I put the name of the game and the episode number all in the title. So hopefully they will see and know what they're fucking clicking on. And yeah, it might get less clicks from people who don't know what the fuck the video is about, but I'd rather people enjoy what they're watching as opposed to just clicking shit mindlessly because they've been misled into clicking on something they didn't know what it was. So fuck that titling practice in particular. Oh, here's another titling thing that fucking bothers me. Philip DeFranco. I have been watching Philip DeFranco's videos for a long fucking time. The Philip DeFranco show, I absolutely love it, and is one of the reasons why I prioritize the idea of just because someone I like said a thing that seems well informed does not mean you just need to stop there. He has his opinions, he does his research, he produces stuff that is very well presented and well informed, but every time he still encourages people to do their own fucking research, and that's very fucking good. However, his show has a fucking problem with, again, this seems to be a little bit of an older problem. His titles seem to be changing a little bit, but his titles would be like, there'd be one big thing at the front that's some sort of drama or whatever, and it'd take up a long time, and then after that would be like comma something a little bit shorter but still kind of celebrity or drama, comma like Syria, comma some other drama. Like, you just shove like a whole civil war into one word at the almost the very end in the middle of a fucking and that's to avoid demonetization. Totally understand that. I understand why he's doing it, but it seems so minimizing. Like, you were talking in like Hong Kong protests, people are being imprisoned and killed, and fucking democracy is under threat from a giant fucking communist regime that's using militaristic police to brutalize peaceful protesters. And in his title, it's like, fucking drama, YouTuber drama, Hong Kong, drama. And it's like, fucking hell. It seems like the Hong Kong thing is so small, but then it takes up the entire back half of the video because it's an actual important fucking thing. And I get that this is a response to a fucked up system on YouTube's part with the demonetization or whatever, but Jesus Christ, does it make it seem totally, it's such a dissonant fucking, sentiment to put something that fucking important in such a small frame, you know? And it's not anything fucking huge, and it's not even something that I can fucking blame Phil for entirely, but it is goddamn obnoxious. So here's something else about YouTube that fucking annoys me, is when people complain about freedom of speech on YouTube. I am a firm believer that YouTube is a private company. And I believe this because it's fucking true. Alright? Freedom of speech is a very important aspect of the human experience. It's a basic human right. However, private companies in the sphere of the free market, or relatively free market, have the right to decide what is and isn't allowed on their platform. And if you don't like it, you can go to another platform. Now, if that platform you're on is limiting access to other platforms like Facebook and their anti-competitive fucking practices, buying up all the competition or whatever, that is a problem. And arguably Google does the same thing. Let's see if my phone responds. No, it didn't. Okay, good. Sometimes I'll say something even remotely similar to Google and it'll fucking flash up like I'm trying to give it a command. It's fucking weird. I wish I could turn that off, but I don't know how. But anyway, but yeah, freedom of speech, it's a fucking private company on a semi-public platform. I say semi-public because you have to pay for the internet, right? You have to pay a private company for access to another private company's service. It's not a human right. The internet is not currently listed as a human right. That'd be nice if it was, but it is not. As such, the stuff you access on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all these other websites are not subject to any government's laws unless specifically violated by statutes of a bigger nature than freedom of speech, because freedom of speech is a right, not a law. It's a weird balance. The reason I say all this is because people will bring up the freedom of speech thing anytime someone says some bad shit and then gets it taken down. And they cry freedom of speech. They don't cry freedom of speech when someone posts something that they don't like. But they do when they're defending a fucking homophobe who levels personal attacks against a journalist. They'll do it when there's someone teaching people how to manufacture guns. They'll do it when someone makes a fucking joke about the death of millions of Jewish people in World War II. That's when they shout freedom of speech. And I get that a large reason why freedom of speech is so important is not to protect speech that everyone's comfortable with. It's to protect speech that people are uncomfortable with. Because you don't need to protect something no one wants to get rid of. You need to protect something when people do want to get rid of it. However, if this is on a private platform, like, you have to have a fucking account on YouTube to even leave comments, or to upload videos, or to participate in anything other than just watching a video. So it's something you have to pay for to get into via the internet, and then you have to have an account that requires a Google account, and on top of all that, there's premium services you can get that are optional. It's as private as can reasonably be expected without charging people to be on the platform at all. So, if I don't see why when you get people who fucking are harassing LGBTQ journalists, that all of a sudden it's a matter of freedom of speech. But, when that same journalist is posting shit that you don't like, all of a sudden it's, they need to be shut up, and if they were here right now, I'd blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's a fucking private company. If you don't like it, you can go utilize another private company that is a little less restrictive, like Facebook, but you also have to take their fucking shit into consideration if you want. It's all these different platforms. They have their different rules. They have their different limitations and drawbacks. And if you don't like any of them, well, it's not essential to human life that you have your fucking opinion shouted on the internet. So you can just not do it. Or if you desperately have that need to get your views out there, there are plenty of websites that produce plenty of blogs where they don't give a goddamn about what you say on them. Go do that. See how well you do. There will always be someone on the internet that will agree with your thing. You just got to get it out to them. No matter how fucked up your views are, there will always be someone that agrees with you. Give you the false impression that you're onto something true and big, even though you're not. There's just fucking billions of people in the world, so eventually someone's going to be as fucked up as you. So there you go. If you don't like the rules of a platform, get the fuck off the platform. If you don't like the rules of any of the platforms, make your own fucking platform. If you can't make the platform, then you don't need to be on the fucking internet. Bri's dad is perfectly fucking happy without a Facebook account. He's not a happy man in general. But he does not want a Facebook account. He doesn't even want an email account. And he's fine without it. Because you can't exist without it. So there you go. It does not need to be a fucking utility. It does not need to be a fucking government system. It does not need to be publicized. Like, not. I'm trying to figure out, like, where they put it under, like, government ordinance. Like, the government has to own it or something. I can't think of the word for it. But, yeah, it's a private company. And unless they're breaking the law, which they're not, then fuck off by only complaining when you happen to be personally inconvenienced. And all of a sudden, human rights matter to you. But not, when people are being locked up in cages and being forcefully subjected to surgeries that render them fucking incapable of reproduction. But your right-wing fucking bullshit. Oh yeah, freedom of speech. All of a sudden human rights matter just because mine are being inconvenienced, but not violated, just inconvenienced. Anyway. Oh yeah, here's one. I got another problem with YouTube here. This one's more about the community. This happens on a small scale sometimes for me too. I mentioned with the extracurricular activities example, but there was a thing, I think, last year during the Christmas season, or it was the Halloween season actually. Game Grumps tend to play games based off of the season, the holiday, whatever, in celebration. And for very legitimate reasons, they were not keeping up with that during the time they were originally going to be doing those uploads. And people started shitting on them to the point where Eager Raptor had to post a fucking apology video because they were doing regular content, but not this special, specific kind of content. They, Ninja Sex Party put out a video that they worked very hard on, and they would appreciate me saying hard on there, a song and a whole production music video, and all the comments were about this fucking Game Grumps, like, where are these specific seasonal episodes? People were fucking not watching the thing that they spent hours and hours and blood, sweat, and tears to produce, and instead were bitching about not getting a seasonal version of the thing that they were still getting. Like, get the fuck over yourselves. There are people underneath these things. The reason that it didn't happen is because Aaron was having a fucking mental health crisis, and Danny was busy working on music, which is his first and biggest passion. So get the fuck over yourselves. And I get a very small version of this too, where like sometimes I'm unable to do specific series, or I'm just not interested in doing specific series, but people get mad at me and they go to videos demanding specific series, and it's like, no, I do it when I want to fucking do it, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but no, it's not okay to just come on and demand shit. It's okay to want specific things that you want. That's okay. That's fine. It's even okay to ask about it. Ask where it is. Ask for it even. But demanding it? There is a very specific difference there. I have no problem with people asking, hey, when's this next thing coming? But like every fucking video for a while, every video was getting an where is extracurricular activities comment. Or multiple, I should say. And people would go from, hey, I'm just curious, when is this happening? Which is fine if it was not every fucking day, all the way up to do more extracurricular activities. Just do it. Just like, those people can fuck off. Those people can fuck off. Not everyone who just happens to want a thing, but people who demand it unreasonably. Those people can fuck off specifically. I don't want to just come across as ungrateful here. Another thing about the YouTube community kind of fucking around. So every few months, seemingly like once a year, people on Twitter go goddamn banana because people en masse realize that Joji used to be Filthy Frank. And more specifically, the persona Joji is performed by someone who used to perform under the persona Filthy Frank. Both these people are fictional, but one, Joji, is way closer to the artistic desires and feelings of the actual person underneath it all, versus Filthy Frank, which was a pure fuck character. However, a lot of people just sort of fucking keep fucking... Okay. The complaint here is that people are being demanding and not understanding of why Filthy Frank left. It wasn't just because YouTube was too PG, and so Filthy Frank had to go. It wasn't that. There were a few big factors. There were multiple factors, but a few of the biggest ones. One, he fucking had medical problems. He was having like seizures and throat problems, and like he couldn't fucking keep up with it medically. And so anyone that's like demanding that it come back, regardless of that, is being very disrespectful to the medical condition of the person underneath it all. And also, very simple one to understand, he didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't feel comfortable doing it. He didn't find it as fun anymore. So he stopped. He didn't force himself to keep going. He just stopped when he didn't want to do it anymore. That should be respected. Hell, I respect that a lot more than someone who fucking walks and just keeps fucking doing something they don't want to do just because it'll make money or it'll get a platform or whatever. And they just keep doing that forever even when they don't want to. I respect someone who wants to stop just because they want to stop. Obviously, the medical stuff also plays into it, but he just didn't have an interest anymore, and so he didn't look back. He stopped, moved on to what he wanted to do, and he's damn good at it. So leave him the fuck alone, give him the respect he deserves, and fucking acknowledge that his retirement was noble. And yeah, he had a huge fucking impact on YouTube and the culture, specifically the non-PG culture. But yeah, if you want to revere the performer behind Filthy Frank, then let his retirement mean something to you. Acknowledge it as something that is important and something that matters more to you than just having someone giving you the lols. There's always going to be more comedians, more performers. But when someone wants to leave, let them do it, respect that, and show that you care more about the person than about the fucking lols, okay? Otherwise, yeah, fuck off. Okay, what this last one? It's a long fucking It's a long paragraph, so I might just have to read it word for word and see what the hell I'm talking about. The paragraph, as written on the Notes app on my phone, reads as such, quote, "Just because YouTubers seem more accessible doesn't mean they owe it to you to talk to you. They're just people. And if you wouldn't expect a random fucker on the street to talk to you, you shouldn't expect that of a YouTuber. Also, fuck, quote, YouTuber, quote, influencer, quote, social media, quote, content creator, or anything else that tries to make the internet sound more important than it is. YouTube is a bunch of random people making random videos ranging from god-awful to tolerable, occasionally even good. But just because people are getting paid doesn't mean it's dignified. I respect anyone earning money to feed their family, but no YouTuber will ever be seen as legitimate as long as they share a platform with Suicide Forest Guy or a glut of Vine compilations from years ago. Until the bar is raised, you're just swimming in the same shit as the rest of us are. You're just trying to act like the sewer is cleaner than Hollywood's sewer. It's all shit, and you fucking know it." Okay, so I basically agree with that. The first part seems to be about accessibility. A lot of people... I'm small time on YouTube. Like, very few people know about me, but thank you to those who do. But people talk to me as if I'm just some person that they can buddy up to, like, oh, we're just automatically friends because they watched a video of mine. I'm very grateful that they watched a video of mine, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the support they give me through, talking to me, their comments and stuff. But like, for a while, there were a few people that were just messaging me every day, trying to talk to me like they knew me for years, and they didn't. Like, there is a huge difference between being a fan and being a friend. I didn't know these people, and they were just talking to me like, "Oh, how's your day going, bud?" I'm like, I don't know who you are. I'm also not shy about the fact that I have social anxiety. So when people are messaging me every day, it freaks me out. It makes me feel like shit because I don't have the energy to respond to them. I don't know what to say because I don't know these people. And it's making me feel worse. And so when finally I have to tell them that and they get kind of shitty with me about it, it's like, well, fucking hell, man. How much of this interaction did you intend to be about your gratification and not about actually talking to me? Because if you wanted to talk to me as a person, as a friend, then you'd respect the fact that you can't talk to me every day. And if you want to talk to me as a friend, you have to get to know me. And not everyone, I can't get to know everyone. I don't want to get to know everyone. I don't have the energy for that. And there will always be people that are just at a distance. But because we're YouTubers, people expect us to be accessible all the time. And I'm not. It's not because I don't like people who enjoy my content. I'm very flattered and very touched by the sentiment there. But I'm a hermit. I'm scared of talking to people. It takes a lot of energy out of me. And it kind of creeps me out when people act like we've known each other for years, but I don't know who these people are, and they just know shit about me, and then they talk to me like, "Hey, can we be friends?" And I'm like, maybe one day. And I don't know. It's a hard row to hoe because on one hand, I don't want to seem ungrateful for their support and their kindness because it means a lot to me. But at the same time, you have to understand that even if you've watched every video of mine, I still don't know who you are. And you still don't know who I am either. You might know a lot about me, but you don't know who I am. Every YouTuber produces something on this, who produces stuff on this platform, is choosing what you see. Even on a live stream, that's curated. It's specific. It's manipulated. It's not maliciously manipulated, but it is. When I cut out a gaffe, a fucked up line or anything like that, I'm choosing for you to not see that I've made a mistake. When a fucking skit is uploaded, unless all the lines were done perfect the first time, there are a lot of mistakes made, no matter who's making the skit. And they're taking it out to make a better skit, but it's not being really honest. And even if it is a skit, it's all fiction. And there's lighting to make it look better. And there's writing to make it sound better. There's all types of various things. And at the tip of it all, and on the base of it all, I should say, under all of it, is the underlying truth that any content is not a window to the soul of a person. To know someone, you have to spend time with a person. You can't just know things about a person and then know them as a person. You know about them. It's not the fucking same. And it's disrespectful, and it hurts when people think that you can be summarized by some of the things you said in a video. And for me, as a socially anxious person, it drains me, man. It drains me, and it makes me reconsider a lot of things when people act sometimes the way that, not a lot of people, great, again, I'm small time, and most like 99% of all the people who ever interact with me are respectful, and they understand, and they keep their distance because they know that because either they know the truth of it all, or they know that me specifically, I am socially anxious. But some people just don't seem to understand that, and they think that they can just ask to be my best friend, and I can't do that. I can't even exchange pleasantries with people on a regular basis because I can't even do that to my family. I am very socially limited, and it places a lot of pressure on me for people to really want to be close to me, and then I can't. And then they get disappointed, or they get mad, and then I feel like shit. When I say I can't do a thing, and I say I can't do a thing, I have a boundary based off of necessity or just desire for a boundary, and then they get upset, and I couldn't do anything about it. It hurts. It sucks, and I don't like it. So those who actually understand it all, thank you. The second part of that big-ass paragraph is talking about the pretentiousness of people trying to make it seem like doing stuff on YouTube is this huge, big thing. And the thing is, it is a lot bigger than most mainstream platforms make it out to be. It is a lot more revolutionary. A lot of people put a lot more work into it than it seems to be. But because it is on an equal playing field with people who just film something on their phone, they'll film someone taking a shit in the street and upload it. Like, that is the same. We're not, as a YouTuber, we're never going to get the same level of recognition as someone who makes a AAA fucking blockbuster movie, because Marvel or Disney doesn't fucking produce a 9-second cell phone video of someone taking a shit in the middle of the street. There is no prestige to doing something on YouTube, and I don't think there should be. But terms like influencer are so fucking manufactured, it makes my goddamn spit hurt. YouTuber is fine. It sounds stupid, and it kind of fits the term. Content creator is so fucking bland that it would make tofu blush. We need to call a spade here. You make videos on the internet. What videos do you make? I make voice acting videos, so I'm a voice actor. I could also be called a YouTuber. That's fine. Content creator? Don't call me that. Influencer? Hell no. Maybe I've influenced someone. I know I've influenced some people. But don't call me influencer. That's not a thing. It sucks as a term. It doesn't explain anything. The whole point of a descriptor is to describe something. It doesn't describe shit. So it fucking sucks. and it makes it seem like it's like one of the reasons why I didn't like the word millennial is because millennials got shit on for being called millennials, but we didn't call ourselves that. Gen Z didn't call themselves Gen Z. But, like, no one's shitting on them for being called Gen Z because it's a fucking letter. But the millennials got shit on for being called the millennials when we didn't get called that. I don't like the term millennial. It's stupid. It kind of describes what time of the fucking human experience we were born around the term of the millennium. Okay. Is that really and hell, Gen X doesn't describe anything. Gen Z doesn't describe anything. All these names suck, but millennial is just fucking has pretense. It sounds preposterous. It sounds like it has some sort of predisposition for importance that it doesn't have and that the millennials don't want. Millennials don't think they're a hot shit. Millennials are depressed alcoholics that just want Nick at Night to be awesome again. Millennials don't give a fuck. Millennials want human rights and healthcare. We don't give a shit that we were born around the year 2000. Gives a goddamn. Anyway. So that's fucking hell. That's all for my list of YouTube complaints. Anything else? No, even all the above list is done. So, there we go. About 2 hours of me complaining, talking about my life, my views on things. If you like this, let me know. Hopefully tomorrow I'll feel good enough to record. If not, I don't know fucking when there'll be more stuff, because as of recording this, there's only one video left to be published, and that's the 4th episode of the Hayseed Night, and then of course this when I edit it. I don't have anything after that. I straight up don't. After the end of the year, I have a TikTok compilation I'll be putting out. I also could work on the highlight video, but that's 96 hours worth of shit I need to sift through, most of which will be cut anyway. I did make a fucking music playlist because I have Google Play on my phone, or at least I did, to play music because I had music files like downloaded on my phone. But YouTube Music took over Google Play, so they made it obsolete. I couldn't even use it for anything. They took it away. Like, I don't understand that. Like, they just fucking took it away, and so now I would have to use YouTube Music, but YouTube Music fucking sucks at playing download files. It doesn't play download files very well at all. The player sucks. It takes a million years to load, and you can't fucking skip things properly, because it doesn't want you to do that. They want you to use device files, as they call it. They want you to use YouTube as a streaming platform. They want to be Spotify. They're fucking not, okay? You're not Spotify. But because my brother does pay for YouTube Premium, I get YouTube Music for free. So I went through all the device files that I had, hundreds of songs that I had to go on YouTube Music to find the video for, that hopefully has the same version, because I'm very particular. I like to have the same version of songs that I listen to. If they're different, it makes it hard for me to sing them, because I learn songs as they were produced, the very specific versions. And of course that brings us to the fucking topic of YouTube Kids, because there are Disney songs and VeggieTale songs that I listen to on my phone, but I can't have them in my YouTube Music playlist because you can't add kids content to playlists. So that music, I think, playlist that is in my created playlist, it's publicly available. You can fucking listen to all the music I've collected. There's songs on there that I found that aren't even on my phone that I need to add to it. It's a very eclectic mix, although for some periods there's just like the same artist for a million entries. That's because I just went through and added a bunch of those artists' songs. But it ranges very wildly from Johnny Cash to Weird Al to Alt J to fucking Mary J. Blige to fucking whatever the fuck. There's a lot of shit. DMX, like there's a lot of shit on there. So feel free to fucking explore. That's like the best side. The best thing about this whole thing is that people can see what kind of music I like if you give a fuck. So cool. It's there now. But goddamn it, YouTube Kids, that's a stupid fucking rule. I get why. If you have content made for kids, you don't want it to be added to playlists because then you get fucking pedophiles that go around and add shit to playlists of, ooh, you look at this video at this time and you get to see a 9-year-old's panties up close. It's so fucking creepy and gross and I hate it and those people deserve to fucking burn in hell. However, music? Still image of a fucking album cover? Like, this blanket fucking statement of what, kids content equals all of these rules. Like, it's not, it's so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb. And what if you're a parent that wants to specifically curate lists of videos that their kid can watch? Well, you can't add it to a playlist anymore. So how the fuck are they going to do that? How do you curate? If you are a responsible parent and you go through every video just to make sure that the whatever wound up on YouTube Kids is actually supposed to be on YouTube Kids. If that's what you want to do, and if you have the ability to do it, and I think that's the right thing you should fucking do, if you're that fucking concerned about your kid finding some shit on YouTube, curate it yourself. You can't do it on a playlist, though. You can't keep the songs you want to fucking keep. That is a stupid fucking rule. If your video is labeled as having kids in it, then maybe have a specific rule about that. But just anything made for kids can't have it on a playlist. It's so fucking dumb. It's a stupid fucking rule. Change it. Please. Hey, Bri took off her headphones. What is this face?
I'm rubbing my ear.
Oh, I couldn't see that. So you just... I'm about to sign off. Is there anything you want to add to all the shit I said that you didn't hear?
Down with the medical establishment.
Down with the medical establishment. You are in the medical establishment.
Yeah, down with it,
You want to be jobless?
I don't want to be jobless. I just want people to be well taken care of.
You care more about other people than yourself? What are you, a fucking commie?
I mean, if I have to be in order to make sure seniors don't die of not getting insulin.
I don't produce a communist show. I totally fucking agree with you. OBS is freaking out. OBS is freaking out. OBS doesn't like your communist rhetoric
OBS
either.
Doesn't like communism.
Oh, God. What the fuck's going on? Oh, I hope... Oh, Jesus.
What was it that was said in that, Games Grumps?
Games Grump.
Up with extremism.
Down with extremism.
Down with extremism.
Christ.
I say up with extremism, baby.
I don't know how much of that is... I don't know how much of this is keeping in the recording because OBS is freaking the fuck out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here.
And change the food stamp laws so seniors get more than $16 fucking a month.
Jesus.
What is that?
That's fucked.
Why are retired people not getting food? What the... Okay.
We need to have a whole episode about this.
It's going to be called Bri Complains.
It's going to be called Bri. Hopefully Bri's fucking employers don't hear this.
No, my employers agree. They're pissed off about it.
I know, but there's probably a social media policy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. That's why we're not saying where you work. Thank you all very much for joining me on this episode of All of the Above. If you like this format, let me know. Because, goddamn it, in the best of circumstances, I could yammer on about my thoughts on things for hours. I know most people don't have time for it, so I plan on also cutting this down based on topic, hopefully. But, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, I've been the trained unprofessional along with the squeak. You don't squeak anymore, do you? Want me to just not call you that?
I suppose you don't have to.
What would you prefer then?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. So I've been the training professional along with this cunt. Do the sound.
What sound does a cunt make?
You know that. You nailed it.
I want to speak to a manager.
Nice. Oh, my fucking computer plug fell out. And until next time, I've been the training professional along with the cunt, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.